Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Smackdown and AEW Rampage review. Smackdown was from the Keybank Center in Buffalo, in upstate New York, while Rampage was taped from the Indiana Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis, Indiana. And Smackdown tonight, I thought it was a decent show in my opinion. It wasn't great or perfect by any means. But Smackdown was on FS1 tonight. It wasn't on Fox because Fox had college football on. So Smackdown was broadcast on FS1. But tonight on Smackdown, we saw Sami Zayn versus Sheamus. We had a match with Shayna Baszler versus Emma. And then we saw Gunther versus Kofi Kingston. And in the main event, which in my opinion, this match was the best match on SmackDown this year. And it was the final match in the SmackDown World Cup. And it was Ricochet versus Santos Escobar. But overall, SmackDown was a decent show tonight. But anyways, let's jump right in to the review. SmackDown opened up tonight with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn came out along with the Usos and Sol Sikoa, and they end up walking down to the ring. So they got into the ring. Jey Uso got on the mic, and he ended up telling the fans that the Bloodline is in their city. Of course, no Roman Reigns tonight, no Paul Heyman. So Sami Zayn ended up telling them, and at Survivor Series, the Bloodline yet again leveled up because at War Games, they had the longest reigning tag team champions. And Survivor Series War Games was the most watched show. So Jimmy Uso ended up telling Sami Zayn no, and that they are not going to do that. He ended up saying that tonight is all about Sami Zayn. He ended up saying that the Bloodline leveled up, but Sami Zayn was the MVP at Survivor Series War Games in the Men's War Games match. So the crowd was chanting Sami Uso. So Jey ended up telling Sami Zayn that he doubted him for a long time, and he didn't like Sami Zayn. Jey ended up saying, but when he made the decision of standing with the family, he earned his respect. He earned Sami Zayn's respect. He ended up saying it's because of Sami Zayn that they won at War Games. Sami Zayn ended up telling Jey, oh, this is too much, and that he doesn't know what to do. Jimmy told Sami Zayn that he has one question, and that one question that Jey asked Sami was, how is he feeling? So the fans started chanting Usi as Sami Zayn ended up looking at them, and he ended up saying that he's feeling pretty freaking Usi. So Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso end up going for the handshake, and they end up looking at Jey. And so Jimmy and Sami Zayn end up telling Jey to join in. And then so we had the Usos and Sami Zayn. They ended up doing their handshake in the ring. And Sol Sikoa was in his own little world. Like, he didn't even care what, they were doing. He was just standing there like he wasn't too thrilled. So then out came the Brawling Brutes. Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch. Sheamus got on the mic, and he told Sami Zayn that he hates to kick the bullocks off a fellow ginger. He kept saying, "It's enough talking for tonight," and that's fight night. Sheamus got in the ring, and we had the first match of the night, which was Sheamus versus Sami Zayn. This was a good match. Really enjoyed this match here. So the match started off, Sami Zayn locked in a headlock on Sheamus. He sent Sheamus into the ropes. Sheamus delivered a shoulder tackle to Sami Zayn. Sheamus then threw Sami Zayn into the turnbuckle. Sami Zayn bounced off hard off the turnbuckle and fell down to the mat. Sheamus grabbed Sami Zayn, but Sami Zayn came back, delivered a right hand to Sheamus. So Sami Zayn ended up going for a hip attack. Sheamus blocked it. Sami Zayn ended up going for a hip attack. Sheamus ended up blocking it. And Sheamus ended up hitting Sami Zayn with a clothesline. He then delivered a European uppercut, and he threw Sami Zayn to the outside. Sheamus then grabbed Sami Zayn and ended up throwing him into the barricade. And then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, Sheamus was in control of the match. He delivered a European uppercut to Sami Zayn on the outside. He tossed Sami Zayn back into the ring. Sheamus was on the ring apron, and he got distracted by the Usos. So that's when Sami Zayn took control of the match, and he ended up hitting Sheamus with a DDT. Sami Zayn ended up going for the cover, and Sheamus kicked out. Sami Zayn then delivered some right hands, which he followed up with a drop kick to Sheamus. So Sami Zayn then locked in the headlock, but Sheamus ended up getting to his feet, and Sami Zayn was on Sheamus' back. Sheamus then slammed Sami Zayn into the turnbuckle to get out of the headlock. Sami Zayn then climbed to the second rope, and he hit Sheamus with a tornado DDT. He went for the cover. Sheamus kicked out. And there was a point where Sheamus was on the ring apron. Sami Zayn ended up grabbing him, and Sami Zayn ended up going for the 10 beats of the Bottom on Sheamus. But Sheamus grabbed Sami Zayn's arm. Sheamus delivered some back elbows to Sami Zayn. Sheamus got back into the ring. He ended up hitting Sami Zayn with some clotheslines. And that's when Sheamus ended up going for the 10 beats of the Bottom, but Sami Zayn hanged Sheamus up on the top rope. Sami Zayn climbed to the top, and he ended up jumping off the top. Sheamus caught Sami Zayn, and he hit Sami Zayn with the Irish Curse backbreaker. He ended up getting Sami Zayn in the clover leaf. Sami Zayn then got to the ropes to break it up. Sheamus then ended up running towards Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn lowered the top rope, to which Sheamus ended up falling to the outside. Then Sami Zayn jumped over the top rope. He landed a swanton onto Sheamus. And then Sami Zayn got up on the top rope as SmackDown came back from the commercial. He was in control of the match. He ended up jumping off the top rope. Sheamus then ended up hitting him with a flying knee to his face. So Sheamus ended up going for the cover. Sami Zayn kicked out. So Sheamus got Sami Zayn on his back. Sheamus then climbed to the second rope. He was going for the white noise. Sheamus was going for the white noise, but Sami Zayn reversed that into a nice sunset flip powerbomb. So he ended up going for the cover. Sheamus kicked out. Sami Zayn was going for the haluva kick, but Sheamus grabbed him, and that's when Sheamus ended up hitting the white noise to him. So Sheamus ended up going for the bro kick to Sami Zayn, but Sami Zayn ended up rolling onto the apron. Sheamus grabbed Sami Zayn, and he hit Sami Zayn with the 10 beats, not 10 beats, 20 beats of the Bottom. So Sheamus was about to go for the bro kick. Jimmy ended up getting on the ring apron. Jimmy Uso got on the ring apron. He distracted Sheamus, to which Sami Zayn grabbed Sheamus. He went for the cover, but Sheamus ended up kicking out. Sami Zayn then distracted the ref, which led to Jimmy delivering a kick onto Sheamus. And then Sami Zayn delivered the Blue Thunder Bomb to Sheamus. He ended up going for the cover, and Sheamus kicked out. So then on the outside, we saw Butch and Ridge Holland and the Usos end up fighting on the outside, and also Solo Sikoa. So Jimmy ended up getting on the ring apron. He distracted the referee. Jay got in the ring, delivered a super kick to Sheamus, to which Sami Zayn rolled Sheamus up. And there you go. Sami Zayn ended up winning the match thanks to Jay getting in the ring and delivering a super kick to Sheamus. But overall, this was a very good, entertaining match from Sami Zayn and Sheamus. Really enjoyed it. And then we had a video package with Santos Escobar and Joaquin Wilde, Raul Mendoza, Zelina Vega. But pretty much Santos Escobar was talking about how he will win the Smackdown World Cup and beat Ricochet. And pretty much that was basically that. But Santos Escobar is awesome. I've followed him since he was known as King Cuerno in Lucha Underground. The whole feud that he had with John Morrison, Johnny Mundo there, where they had a steel cage match, to which he ended up losing the match, to which John Morrison ended up winning. And then he was the Gift of the Gods champion, where he defeated Phoenix. And then, he pretty much dropped the title to Phoenix in a ladder match, at that point in the Lucha Underground. So, but I follow Santos Escobar, since then. And then, of course, coming to WWE and being in NXT and the whole formation of Legado del Fantasma just was absolutely awesome. And Zelina Vega, accompanying Santos Escobar and Joaquin Wilde, Raul Mendoza, is just absolutely great. Like that they paired Zelina Vega up with them. Overall, very good video package, with Santos Escobar. Just the guy is absolutely amazing. And then we saw Megan Morant. Megan Morant was with Kofi Kingston, and she ended up telling Kofi that this is the first WWE superstar to declare entry into the Royal Rumble. And so Megan Morant ended up asking Kofi about the finals of the SmackDown World Cup. Kofi ended up telling Megan Morant that he likes what he sees from Santos, but he can't bet against Ricochet. So then we had Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. They ended up coming up to Kofi Kingston, and they ended up telling Megan Morant why she would ask Kofi about what is going on, since him and Xavier Woods spend more time on the internet than in the ring. Of course, referencing Xavier Woods' YouTube channel, Up, Up, Down, Down. So Kofi ended up saying that Xavier Woods isn't here tonight, but he has no problem going in the ring with any one of them. So Gunther ended up coming up to Kofi. Gunther ended up telling Kofi that he will be in the ring with him. So then we had the match later on, which was Gunther versus Kofi Kingston. So pretty much that was that. And then we saw Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was standing backstage. He was in the dark. Bray Wyatt ended up saying that we are spoiled. Society has given us this wild lifestyle. He ended up saying that people forget that once upon a time, we were all wild animals. He ended up saying that animals and insects eat each other to survive, and that is normal. Bray Wyatt then ended up saying that we don't dare to talk about these things, even though these primal instincts are in our minds. So Bray Wyatt ended up saying that those ideas are still there, but he is not the one that hurt LA Knight. So Bray Wyatt ended up saying that he hurt him, and so he ended up laughing. So he ended up saying that if he had been the one, we would all know, because there would be none of LA Knight left. So pretty much that was what Bray Wyatt had to say. But good promo from Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is one of the good things about SmackDown, and there's going to be a good feud with him and LA Knight. And I think, they're going to have their match. This is your Royal Rumble match. Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight. This is set up for their match at the Royal Rumble. So, without a doubt, that's taking place. And then we saw Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler ended up coming out. She got into the ring. No Ronda Rousey tonight. Shayna Baszler just came out on her own. And then we saw Emma backstage. She was stretching, and in came Madcap Moss. To which Moss and Emma are dating in real life. So Moss ended up asking her, how is she? Emma ended up telling Moss that she is good, but being away for 5 years is a long time, and competition is tough. Now I want to play this little audio here because this just made me laugh when Moss was saying this. Moss is a comedian here. I gotta play this because I'm like, really? Yeah, let me play this here. Get the volume up.
It doesn't matter how long it's been. It matters. Don't you forget who you are? You're a trailblazer.
Emma, a trailblazer? Really? Oh my God.
The whole women's revolution, the women's evolution, none of that happens without you.
Oh. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You worked your tail off to make change, real change. And now the whole game has changed so.
Yeah, enough of that, but Moss is a comedian there, calling Emma a trailblazer. God. Emma is a jobber. She's absolutely terrible in the ring. Even when she was in WWE last time, she was jobbing out. God, awful. And then he ended up saying that she belongs here. So Emma ended up thanking Moss, ended up kissing him on the cheek. And then she went out for a match with Shayna Baszler, which the match was absolute bore. So the match started with Shayna delivering a waistlock takedown on Emma. So Emma ended up rolling up Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler kicked out. Emma delivered a Russian leg sweep to Shayna. She ended up going for the cover, and Shayna ended up kicking out. Shayna was on the ring apron as Emma ended up grabbing her. Shayna ended up slamming Emma's arm onto the second rope. And then she delivered a armbar takedown in the middle of the ring. She ended up twisting Emma's arm, ended up getting her in an armbar, but Emma ended up reversing and rolling Shayna Baszler up, and Shayna Baszler kicked out. Baszler then delivered a right hand to Emma. And so, at the end of the match, we had Shayna locking an armbar again on Emma off the top rope. And she ended up getting Emma in the Karafuda clutch. Emma ended up tapping out. So there you go. Shayna Baszler ended up winning the match. Post-match, Shayna ended up grabbing Emma's arm again. And out came Shotzi. Shotzi ran down to the ring. And she delivered some right hands to Shayna Baszler. So Shayna Baszler delivered a kick to Shotzi, which was followed by a knee to her face. Shayna ended up stepping on Shotzi's hair, and she ended up twisting Shotzi's arm. And out came Smiley Raquel Rodriguez. She ran down to the ring. Her arm was in the brace. So we had Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi and Emma. They ended up staring down at Shayna Baszler as Shayna Baszler ended up getting out of the ring. And pretty much that was basically that. Overall, awful match this was. And Emma could go back to catering. And then Michael Cole ended up saying that in the women's division, there is also Lacey Evans, who is going back to her basics. So WWE is just being the dead horse with Lacey Evans. They're trying to get Lacey Evans over. And it showed a video of Lacey Evans training with the Marine Corps. So this is pretty much WWE wanting to get Lacey Evans over, and they just keep being the dead horse with it. And so we're back to having vignettes with Lacey Evans. But, this is Triple H now in charge of creative. This is not like what they did with Lacey Evans in the old regime when Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon were running everything. This could be surprising, under Triple H here with Lacey Evans. But we'll see. We'll see. We're getting these vignettes. We saw our first vignette now, tonight, among many others to come. And it's going to be the reintroduction of Lacey Evans. So then we saw a video of Ricochet. Ricochet was talking about, winning the Smackdown World Cup. So pretty much that was that. And then we had Gunther versus Kofi Kingston. And this was a pretty good match here. Gunther was accompanied by Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. So the match started off with Kofi delivering some kicks to Gunther, and he delivered a drop kick to Gunther. So Kofi ended up locking in a headlock, but Gunther ended up delivering a backbreaker to Kofi. Gunther then delivered an uppercut to Kofi in the middle of the ring. He ended up grabbing Kofi. Kofi came back, delivered some right hands and some kicks to Gunther, to which Gunther came back, grabbed Kofi, and delivered a chop to Kofi's chest. Gunther then delivered a snapmare, and he placed his legs between Kofi's head. He ended up twisting Kofi's neck. Gunther then pushed Kofi to the ropes, and Kofi came back, delivered some right hands to Gunther. Kofi got Gunther in the corner, but Gunther ended up throwing Kofi into the corner, delivered another chop to Kofi's chest. Gunther then threw Kofi into the ropes. Kofi ended up hanging on to them. Gunther ended up running towards Kofi. Kofi ended up lowering the top rope, to which Gunther ended up going out of the ring. Kofi ended up running the ropes, and Ludwig Kaiser tripped Kofi up, and the referee didn't even see that. So Gunther got into the ring and delivered a boot to Kofi. So Gunther was going for a powerbomb to Kofi. And then out came Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman came out. He ended up running after Ludwig Kaiser. Giovanni Vinci ended up jumping off the ring steps. Strowman caught Vinci, and he slammed Vinci into the ring post. Strowman then threw Vinci over the barricade. Ludwig Kaiser jumped onto Strowman's back, and Strowman ended up flipping Kaiser, threw him over the barricade. So then Gunther ended up going for the powerbomb, and Kofi ended up hitting Gunther with the SOS. He ended up going for the cover, and Gunther kicked out. So then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, Michael Cole on commentary, he mentioned that Braun Strowman chased Vinci and Kaiser to the back. So it was now one-on-one between Gunther and Kofi Kingston. So Gunther ended up having Kofi in a headlock. Kofi came back, delivered some elbows and some kicks to Gunther. So Kofi ended up getting Gunther in the cover. Gunther ended up kicking out. Kofi then delivered some right hands to Gunther, which he followed up with a drop kick. So we had Kofi end up delivering a flying clothesline to Gunther. Kofi ended up running towards Gunther, and Gunther ended up catching Kofi. He ended up throwing Kofi, and Kofi ended up landing on his feet, which was awesome. Kofi then delivered a drop kick to Gunther. So Kofi ended up climbing the top rope, and he delivered a splash onto Gunther's back. He ended up going for the cover. Gunther kicked out. So Kofi ended up climbing up to the second rope. He jumped off of it, and Gunther ended up delivering a chop to Kofi. And then Gunther came back, delivered a German suplex. He ended up going for the cover, and Kofi ended up kicking out. So at the end of the match, we had Gunther deliver a drop kick to Kofi, and then he delivered a powerbomb. He ended up going for the cover. Kofi ended up kicking out. Gunther ended up grabbing Kofi and slammed him down to the mat. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Gunther ended up winning the match. But overall, this was a pretty good match here between Gunther and Kofi Kingston. So Michael Cole stated that Gunther was talking to him earlier in the week. And Michael Cole ended up saying that Gunther told him that he is trying to evolve and that he was trying a new move. And that move is the Last Symphony. So I guess that's what Gunther's finishing move is going to be called, the Last Symphony. And then we saw the Bloodline backstage. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he knows a great place to go eat to them. Sami was about to walk away. Jimmy ended up telling Sami Zayn to let Solo Sikoa go with him, since he has made a lot of enemies lately. So Sikoa and Sami Zayn ended up walking away. Jimmy ended up telling Jay that it's crazy how Jay has Sami Zayn. Jimmy ended up asking him if he ever spoke to Sami Zayn about having lied to him when he told him that he didn't talk to Kevin Owens, that Sami Zayn didn't talk to Kevin Owens. Jay ended up saying that he didn't, but that Roman told him he saw what he needed to see. He ended up saying that they won at Survivor Series. So Sheamus ended up hitting both the Usos with the shillelagh. Sheamus ended up telling them good luck in their match on Monday. And if they win, him and McIntyre will be waiting for them. So pretty much that was basically that. And then out came Damage Control. Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. So Bayley ended up getting on the mic. She ended up saying they don't want to be in Stupid Buffalo, but she is sure that Michael Cole missed her. She ended up saying that SmackDown needed ratings, and they knew they can count on Damage Control. She ended up saying that they were inside of War Games less than a week ago. And she ended up saying that her, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky were in that match for 95 minutes and 19 seconds. They ended up saying that they don't know what that does to their bodies, but because they cheered for Becky Lynch when they won. So the fans started chanting for Becky, to which Bayley ended up telling them, Becky isn't here tonight. So Bayley ended up wanting to talk about the roster. She ended up saying that no one wanted to face them. She ended up saying that as the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion in history, that disappointed her, and that they are here to be role models. So then out came Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan got on the mic. She ended up telling Bayley that it seems like she has a problem with the women's division, with the SmackDown women's division. So Liv ended up counting that there are 3 of them. She ended up saying that it seems fair. So Liv ended up running down toward the ring. Io Sky ended up going to the outside, and Liv Morgan ended up throwing her into the barricade. Dakota Kai was also on the outside, and Liv Morgan ended up throwing her also into the barricade. Liv got into the ring, and she speared Bayley, and she just started throwing punches at Bayley, to which Io Sky and Dakota Kai end up coming into the ring, attacking Liv. And then we had the return, or the comeback, of Tegan Knox. So Tegan Knox is back, and she ended up attacking Damage Control, and she started being down on Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bayley. Of course, Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai have history, in NXT, and Tegan Knox was, formerly Shotzi's tag team partner in the old administration. So Liv Morgan grabbed the kendo stick, and she had pinned Damage Control with it, and the kendo stick was broke. So Tegan Knox then ended up hitting Bayley with the Chinese Wizard, and pretty much that was basically that. But no vignettes for Tegan Knox's return. Tegan Knox is going to be another one of those that came back, had no vignettes. She's going to be like Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae, she debuted. She had no vignettes telling the fans who she really is. And it's going to be the same way for Tegan Knox. When Tegan Knox came out, she got no reaction from the crowd. So Tegan Knox is going to be another one of those that, came back, had no vignettes, and the fans don't really know who she is. So that's how the way I see it. But overall, I'm happy that Tegan Knox is back. And then we saw Karrion Kross and Scarlett. They were in the dark room. Kross ended up saying this universe is one giant storm, and it's chaos. He ended up saying that he embraces it. He ended up saying people struggle with that reality. And the more they fight it, it really puts them in places they really don't want to be in. And he had to show Drew McIntyre and teach Madcap Moss that you don't walk against the wind. So Kross ended up saying, now it is time to take someone else into the eye of the storm. So Kross looked at Scarlett with a deck of cards and shows a card. And on the card was Rey Mysterio. So it's going to be Rey Mysterio versus Karrion Kross. But that was basically that. And then Michael Cole and Wade Barrett ended up mentioning that next week on SmackDown, which is going to be from Pittsburgh, they're going to do a birthday celebration for Kurt Angle. So Kurt Angle is going to be on SmackDown next week, for his whole birthday celebration. So we all get to see Kurt Angle again. So then it cutted to Uncle Howdy, a.k.a. he looks like Hulk Hogan. It cut to Hulk Hogan, Uncle Howdy. He ended up asking, how well do you know your neighbor? He ended up saying that he knows how he thinks and how it feels. And that's all fiction. So as Uncle Howdy was talking, we saw videos of Bray Wyatt flash across the screen. So pretty much that was that. But, Uncle Howdy, he looks like Hulk Hogan a little bit. Main event. The final match in the SmackDown World Cup. Ricochet versus Santos Escobar. And the winner becomes the number one contender to face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Man, this match was incredible. This was the best SmackDown match of the year, in my opinion. Just both of these guys gave it all they got. Santos Escobar is awesome. He's really great. Ricochet, of course, really good. So we had Santos Escobar. He was accompanied by Legado del Fantasma, Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza and Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega was on commentary during this. So the match got underway. Ricochet delivered an armbar to Santos Escobar, but Escobar reversed that into an armbar of his own. Ricochet ended up getting out of the armbar. So Ricochet delivered some right hands to Santos Escobar. He up run the ropes, but he got distracted by Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. Legado del Fantasma. To which Santos Escobar got controlled the match by throwing Ricochet to the outside. Santos Escobar delivered some right hands to Ricochet, and he threw Ricochet into the ring. Ricochet came back, delivered a drop kick to Escobar, and he was on the ring apron. Joaquin Wilde distracted the ref. Ricochet was pushed off the top rope by Raul Mendoza. So the referee turned around and kicked Legado del Fantasma out of ringside. He ejected them. Zelina Vega got on the ring apron, and she was arguing with the ref, and the ref ended up kicking Zelina Vega out too. So both Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza were kicked out, followed by Zelina Vega. So it was just a one-on-one match between Santos Escobar and Ricochet. So we had Ricochet end up delivering a dropkick to Santos Escobar as SmackDown came back from the commercial. Ricochet speared Santos Escobar into the corner. Ricochet was on the ring apron. He was about to jump off the top rope, and Escobar ended up pushing Ricochet down to the outside. Escobar ran the ropes and delivered a suicide dive onto Ricochet, which was really good. And Ricochet ended up slamming Escobar into the commentary table. So we had Escobar end up going for the cover, and Ricochet ended up kicking out. So we had Escobar later on. He ended up lifting Ricochet on his shoulders. Ricochet grabbed the ropes, landed on his feet. Ricochet got on the ring apron, and he delivered a right hand to Santos Escobar. Ricochet ended up going for a suplex, and he placed Escobar on the ring apron, and Ricochet delivered a kick to Escobar's face. Escobar ended up falling to the outside, to which Ricochet delivered another kick to Escobar, and then he delivered a shooting star press onto Santos Escobar, which was great. You had a point in the match where you had Escobar end up jumping onto the barricade, and Escobar ended up delivering a Hurricanrana off the barricade onto Ricochet, which was great. That spot there was awesome. So Escobar rolled Ricochet into the ring. He ended up going for the cover, and Ricochet ended up kicking out. Yeah, later on, Escobar ended up going for a Hurricanrana. Ricochet then landed on his feet. Ricochet then delivered a knee to Escobar's face, which he followed up with a suplex. And then Ricochet then delivered a vertical suplex to Escobar. Ricochet then delivered a springboard moonsault off the second rope. He ended up going for the cover, and Escobar ended up kicking out. So, at the end of the match, Escobar ended up getting up. Ricochet delivered a kick to Escobar's face. Ricochet climbed to the top rope, and he hit the 630 onto Escobar. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Ricochet ended up winning the SmackDown World Cup. Post-match, Ricochet walked up the ramp, and he grabbed the SmackDown World Cup trophy. And he celebrated with the trophy. We have pyro going off behind him. And then Gunther ended up coming out. So Michael Cole commentary ended up saying that Gunther and Ricochet will go one-on-one on the December 16th edition of SmackDown for the Intercontinental Championship. And pretty much that was basically how SmackDown went off the air. Overall, this match was incredible. It was great. It was the best SmackDown match of the year. This match felt NXT TakeOver, like an NXT TakeOver match. And when I say that, it was amazing. It was in that vein of an NXT TakeOver match. Overall, SmackDown was a decent show tonight. Moving on to AEW Rampage, which Rampage tonight was just a very meh show. We had Darby Allin taking on Cole Carter. We had Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Jeff Jarrett in the ring, tagging with Jay Lethal to take on Private Party. We had Athena versus Dani Mo. And in the main event, we had the All-Atlantic Championship on the line. Orange Cassidy defended the title against QT Marshall in a Lumberjack match. But overall, Rampage, very meh show. So Rampage opened up with Darby Allin versus Cole Carter. So we saw Darby Allin and Cole Carter. They were waiting in the ring. Nick Comoroto was at ringside. Darby Allin started beating down on Nick Comoroto. So we had Darby Allin end up going after Cole Carter. He tossed him into the ring, and the match got underway. Darby Allin delivered a drop kick to Cole Carter. Carter ended up tossing Darby out of the ring, and he powerbombed Darby onto the apron. Cole Carter tossed Darby into the ring, threw him into the top turnbuckle. So Cole Carter delivered a buckle bomb to Darby Allin, which he followed up with a drop kick, and then he did a suplex to Darby Allin. So as Rampage came back from the commercial, Cole Carter was in control of the match. He delivered a knee to Darby Allin. Darby Allin fired back with a chop block, but Cole Carter delivered an elbow to him. Darby Allin ended up managing to hit the code red on Cole Carter, and then he ascended to the top. He ended up going flying off the top, Darby Allin. So Darby Allin then delivered the Scorpion Death Drop, climbed up to the top again, and then he hit the Coffin Drop onto Cole Carter, to which he went for the cover. And there you go. Darby Allin ended up winning the match. Overall, this match was just, in my opinion. And then we saw Renee Paquette. Renee Paquette was backstage with Keith Lee. Renee Paquette ended up asking Keith Lee for an update on him and Swerve Strickland. So Keith Lee was going to answer Renee Paquette's question, but Shane Taylor ended up walking in. Shane Taylor ended up asking Keith Lee, what is it with him leaving behind his partners, like he did with him 6 years ago? So Shane Taylor ended up challenging Keith Lee to a match against him and JD Griffey. He ended up telling him that he may want to find some help. Swerve Strickland then appeared behind Keith Lee. Keith Lee ended up asking him if he could count on him. So pretty much that was basically that. So we're going to see Swerve in Our Glory versus Shane Taylor and JD Griffey. So that's going to be happening. And then we had the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed ended up coming out. Renee Paquette was in the ring. So the Acclaimed was, of course, accompanied by Billy Gunn. Renee Paquette ended up saying to the Acclaimed that the titles look good around their waists. And she ended up asking them, what's next? Anthony Bowens ended up addressing Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal after they interrupted their scissoring on Dynamite. He ended up telling them that they cut the line. So Bowens ended up saying that they'll have to wait because there's another team who's been waiting a long time for their shot. He ended up saying that since they're fighting champions and the people's voice, they will listen. So then Austin and Colton Gunn end up coming out. Austin ended up saying that if they want the best team, they're looking at them. And so Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt end up heading down to the ring. Dutt ended up saying that when he looks at the Gunn brothers, he sees a couple of ass boys. He ended up saying that they will show them why they're the greatest tag team in their upcoming match. So Billy Gunn ended up cutting them off and ended up saying that they've all misunderstood because they want the best. So then FTR ended up coming out. Out came Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, and they ended up shaking the Acclaimed's hands, and then they end up walking off. And then Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal got into the ring, and we have Private Party and Matt Hardy end up heading to the ring. And so then we had the match, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus Private Party. This match was another very meh match in my opinion. Yeah, we got a 55-year-old Jeff Jarrett wrestling. Jeez. So Jay Lethal and Isaiah Cassidy end up starting off the match. The two end up locking up. Cassidy end up delivering an arm drag to Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal end up beating down Isaiah Cassidy and tagged in Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett delivered a right hand to Isaiah Cassidy. Isaiah Cassidy ended up firing back, and he ended up tagging in Mark Gwen. Mark Gwen ended up coming in. He started beating down Jeff Jarrett. Gwen then tagged Isaiah Cassidy back in. And then Isaiah Cassidy ended up delivering a back body drop to Jeff Jarrett. So Mark Gwen ended up tagging in. He delivered a drop kick. So we had Private Party end up hitting the silly string, but Jeff Jarrett ended up getting the upper hand, started beating Private Party down. Jay Lethal ended up taking in. He delivered the lethal injection to Mark Gwen, and pretty much that was that. Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett end up winning the match. Do I care? No. But man, Private Party is losing their momentum, in my opinion. Yeah, we got a 55-year-old Jeff Jarrett in the ring in this match. And then we had the sit-down interview between Renee Paquette and Saraya. Renee Paquette ended up asking Saraya how she's feeling 2 weeks after her match at Full Gear against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Saraya ended up saying that it was crazy and bizarre. She ended up saying that it feels incredible. So Renee Paquette ended up asking her what it was like to have her family there. Saraya ended up saying that she was there for her and has been since the beginning. She ended up saying that she was proud, that her brother was there. Renee Paquette ended up asking Saraya what her big takeaway was. And Saraya ended up saying that it was a big moment for all women in AEW. She ended up saying that she's gunning for the AEW Women's World Championship. So that was what Saraya had to say. I mean, pretty decent interview with Saraya. And then we had Athena versus Dani Mo. This was a squash match. Athena ended up winning the match. Athena delivered the Wrath of the Goddess on Dani Mo. And then post-match, Athena ended up sending Dani Mo out of the ring. She tossed her into the barricade, and she ended up tossing Dani Mo into the ring steps. And officials and refs had to come down, and they tell Athena to go to the back. So then Athena then delivered the Meteor to Dani Mo, and that was that. Overall squash match. And then we saw a video of Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson ended up introducing himself being a 3-time IWGP United States champion. So he called out Samoa Joe, and he's challenging Samoa Joe to a match at Ring of Honor Final Battle for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. So there you go. That was that. Main event. Lumberjack match. All Atlantic Championship on the line. Orange Cassidy versus QT Marshall. And this was a okay match here. We saw QT Marshall being accompanied by the Factory, and then Orange Cassidy was accompanied by the Best Friends and Danhausen, to which the Best Friends and Danhausen, they were dressed as lumberjacks. They had the pitch axes in hand. So the match got underway. Orange Cassidy ended up putting his hands in his pocket, and he delivered a drop kick. QT Marshall ended up rolling to the outside, to which the Lumberjacks ended up tossing QT Marshall back into the ring. Orange Cassidy delivered his signature kicks to the Lumberjacks, and we had QT Marshall ended up tossing Cassidy back to the outside, and it was near Matt Hardy and Ethan Page. And Ethan Page ordered Matt Hardy to beat Orange Cassidy down. So Matt Hardy ended up helping Orange Cassidy back into the ring, and Ethan Page ejected Matt Hardy from ringside. So Private Party ended up wanting to go with Matt Hardy, and Ethan Page ended up telling them to stay put. So then, as Rampage came back from the commercial, QT Marshall ended up sending Orange Cassidy's head into the top turnbuckle. Orange Cassidy then ended up going for the cover, and QT Marshall ended up kicking out. So the Factory got into the ring. The Best Friends ended up clotheslining them over the top rope. So at the end of the match, Orange Cassidy ended up managing to hit the Orange Punch and a beach break, which this was the second beach break in the match that Orange Cassidy ended up hitting QT Marshall. He also had a point where Orange Cassidy was on the apron and he was looking to pile drive QT Marshall, but Danhausen was on the ring apron. Danhausen ended up cursing QT Marshall. So, but Orange Cassidy ended up winning the match, retaining the All-Atlantic Championship. Post-match, Orange Cassidy ended up hitting Kip Sabian with a tope suicida because during the match, Penelope Ford came to the ring and distracted the referee. Kip Sabian appeared behind Orange Cassidy, and Kip Sabian ended up pushing Orange Cassidy off the top. So that's, what happened post-match with Orange Cassidy hitting Kip Sabian with a tope suicida. And so both Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian brawled to the back, and all the Lumberjacks outside at ringside, they were brawling. So Josh Woods and Tony Nese beat down Orange Cassidy and Ortiz in the ring, and then the lights went out in the arena. And when the lights came back on, the House of Black ended up appearing in the ring. Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King. Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews ended up beating down everyone in the ring. Brody King ended up taking out everyone at ringside. Brody King then got into the ring as him and Buddy Matthews ended up looking to go for the Dante's Inferno on Ortiz. But Malachi Black ended up telling the both of them not to hit it on him. So we had Buddy Matthews and Brody King end up hitting Dante's Inferno on Serpentico, Serjabico. And then they just started continuing to beat everyone down on the outside. And that's when Rampage went off the air. Overall, this Lumberjack match was okay. But overall, Rampage was just a very meh show. Smackdown was the better show tonight. But anyways, that's it for the Smackdown and AEW Rampage review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.